The weight of the net. Robert woke before the sun, the damp chill of the harbor already seeping into his bones. For 20 years, the sea had been his master and his tormentor. He was a fish seller, a purveyor of the ocean's bounty. But lately the bounty felt meager, and the selling was a daily humbling struggle. His stall, a weathered wooden table by the roadside, was nestled between the noise of the main market and the brine-scented air of the docks. Every morning he would meticulously arrange the day's catch, the silvery sardines, the speckled mackerel, and on rare, fortunate days, a plump pomfret. But the profit margins were razor-thin, eaten up by ice, rent, and the demands of a meager existence. The true weight he carried wasn't the fish. It was his son, Adam. Adam was a boy of quiet, studious intensity. Unlike the other children who played near the boats, Adam always had his nose buried in a tattered textbook. Robert looked at his son and didn't see a boy destined for the docks. He saw a mind that belonged in a library. One evening, after a particularly grueling day, where a sudden downpour had ruined half his inventory, Robert slumped onto the cot in their tiny one-room home. He watched Adam, who was studying by the dim light of a kerosene lamp, his lips silently moving over complex biology terms. "Papa," Adam finally asked, his voice soft. "Why do you work so hard? You barely sleep." Robert managed a tired, strained smile. "I work hard so your dreams can be lighter than my net." He paused, his eyes welling up with a resolve that felt more powerful than any muscle. "My life is with the scales and the stench of the fish. Your life, it must be with the stethoscope and the scent of medicine. You will be a doctor." The sacrifice. Robert doubled his efforts. He started taking on extra labor, mending nets for the boat owners late into the night. He gave up his single daily cup of tea, the only small luxury he afforded himself. Every extra dollar was folded and hidden away in a small metal box, the Adam Fund. He became a familiar, stoic figure in the market, his face permanently etched with fatigue. Other sellers teased him for encouraging such a high ambition, for spending money on coaching classes when the boy could be learning the trade. "The sea takes its own," they had cautioned. "Don't let him forget where he comes from." But Robert wouldn't listen. When Adam needed a new textbook, Robert didn't buy any new sandals for himself. When the electricity went out and Adam couldn't study, Robert saved for 2 months to buy a small, reliable battery and LED lamp. His clothes became more threadbare, his hands rougher, but the light in his eyes, the light of his son's ambition, never dimmed. Finally, the day of the entrance exam arrived. Robert stood outside the imposing university gates, clutching a small, worn prayer bead. He didn't understand the science, but he understood the gravity of the moment. Weeks later, the results were posted online. Robert, who had never touched a computer, nervously stood beside a tea stall owner who pulled up the page. When the man read out, Adam Jackson admitted. A sound escaped Robert's throat that was half sob, half roar. The years of struggle didn't magically vanish. The fee structure for medical school was a towering mountain. Robert took out a loan, mortgaging the only possession he truly owned, his tiny house. It was a terrifying risk. But he knew the value of the investment. 4 years later, Adam stood before his father, no longer a boy, but a young man in a starched white coat. He was home for a short break. Robert was at his stall, gutting fish. He was older, more bent, but his movements were still practiced and quick. Adam walked up to him. He didn't say anything. He reached into his pocket and pulled out a clean linen handkerchief. Gently he took the knife from his father's hand, took the bowl of water, and began to wipe the brine, the scales, and the blood from his father's rough, scarred fingers. "Papa," Adam's voice was steady, filled with emotion. "I got the scholarship, and I sent the first installment back to clear the home loan." Robert looked down at his hands, clean now, for the first time in memory, by the hands of his doctor son. The fish smell was replaced by the clean, medicinal scent of Adam's coat. He didn't cry, he simply looked at Adam. Then back at the stall, the scales, the ice, the ironwood, and for the first time in 20 years, the net felt light. It wasn't a burden. It was the sacred, precious foundation upon which a new, brighter life had been built. The struggling fish seller had sacrificed his comfort to give his son a future, proving that the greatest catch in life is not found in the sea, but in the dreams we fiercely nurture. Thank you.